Rejoice. This is the day the Lord has made. I'm Dr. Amanda. Mama said, act like you got some home training. Don't go out there embarrassing us. Drop in the comments, what did your mama say about how you carried yourself in public, out in the world? She was not just talking about manners. She was not just talking about saying yes, ma'am, and no, sir, and holding the door open for elderly people. She was talking about everything she poured into you from the time you took your first breath in her house. Every lesson, every correction, every late night conversation, every whooping, every prayer she prayed over you before you even knew she was praying. Every sacrifice she made so you could have what she never had. That is the training. And when you walked out that door into a new city, a new campus, a new chapter, a new venture or endeavor, she was not just hoping you remembered your manners. She was hoping you remembered who you were. Because mama knew something that the world out there was about to test and try to teach you. How you carry yourself on the outside is a direct reflection of what you believe about yourself on the inside. If you know you are valuable, you protect what is valuable. If you know you are purposed, have destiny, and gifted, you guard your gift. You guard that gift. And if you know you are a temple, you do not let just anything walk through the doors. Proverbs 22:6 says, we shared this before, train up a child in the way that he should go. And when he is old, he will not depart from it. And we learned that the Hebrew word for train is to dedicate, to initiate, to narrow the path. Mama was just not raising you. She was dedicating you, narrowing your path before you even knew you were on one. She spent years building a temple, and then she sent you out into a world that had no idea what it was looking at, the gift that you are. Act like you got some home training. Do not embarrass the God whose presence lives in that temple. And do not embarrass the mama who dedicated her life to building it. But here's what nobody tells our young adults: standing by themselves for the first time. The decisions you make about your body right now are writing a story your future self will have to live with. And some chapters are harder to rewrite than others. Here's what the data says about what is happening to young people and their bodies right now. 1 in 4 young adults between the ages of 18 and 25 needed substance abuse treatment last year. That's 9.8 million people. Yet, only 16.6% of those who needed help actually received it. The rest are still in the story, still in the chapter, still carrying the weight of decisions made in a moment that was supposed to be fun. 82% of young adults used alcohol in the past year, and 34% engaged in heavy episodic drinking. And marijuana, the second most widely used substance, is directly connected to increased risk of anxiety, depression, and in some cases, psychosis. Here is the numbers that stops every mama and daddy. Nearly 15% of young people meet the criteria for alcohol use disorder before they even turn 18. And half of everyone who will ever struggle with alcohol use disorder from their entire lifetime develops that disorder by the age of 21. That's 21 years old, before the brain is even fully developed, before that prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain that governs decision making, impulse control, and long-term thinking, is even finished forming. And on college campuses, the majority of sexual assaults involve alcohol or substances. Think about this: the body that was never meant to be violated, the temple that was designed to be protected, left vulnerable by a decision that started with just one drink at a party where everybody else was doing it too. This is not about judgment. This is not about shame. This is about what mama saw coming before you ever walked into that room. 1 Corinthians 6 and 19 through 20. Do you not know that your body is a temple of the Holy Spirit who is in you, whom you have received from God? You're not your own. You were bought with a price. Therefore, honor God with your bodies. The Greek word for temple means the inner sanctuary, the Holy of Holies, not the outer courts where everything could enter, not the general gathering space, but the most sacred room in the entire structure, the place where the presence of God Himself dwells. Paul is not saying your body is like a building. He is saying your body is the Holy of Holies. In the Old Testament, only the priest could enter the Holy of Holies only once a year, only once a year. And this was only after extensive purification, because what dwelt in that space was too holy for casual access. And Paul says that is what lives in us. The Spirit of the living God does not take up residence in a place He does not value. He chose your body as His sanctuary, His dwelling place, His Holy of Holies. Proverbs 25 and 16 pairs it perfectly, which says, if you find honey, eat just enough, too much of it, and you will vomit. And the Hebrew word for enough is dai, sufficiency, the right amount, what is needed, no more, no less. Solomon is teaching the principle of stewarding what is good. Even good things become destructive without wisdom and restraint. And Galatians 6 and 7 through 8 gives us the long view. He said, do not be deceived. God cannot be mocked. A man reaps what he sows. Whoever sows to please their flesh, from the flesh will reap destruction. And the Greek word for reaps is to harvest. And here is what every farmer knows that the 18-year-old does not. You never reap in the same season that you sow. The harvest always comes after. When you have forgotten what you planted, when you have moved on to a new season, when you think the old decisions no longer matter, but they do. They always matter because the field remembers the seed. C.S. Lewis said, you do not have a soul. You are a soul. You have a body. Let me say that again. You do not have a soul. You are a soul. You have a body. You are not a body trying to manage a soul. You are a soul, eternal, sacred, chosen, temporarily housed in a body that deserves to be treated accordingly. And Hippocrates, the father of medicine, said, the natural healing force within each of us is the greatest force in getting well. God built healing into the body, Rapha, the mender, the restorer, the one that makes whole. But healing requires honoring what God designed. We cannot consistently violate our temple and expect the temple to function at the level that God intended. And the theologian John Piper said, God is most glorified in us when we are most satisfied in Him. When you truly understand the value God placed on your body, when you are satisfied in His identity for you, you stop looking for satisfaction in substances, in lust, in sex that were never designed to feel what only God could feel. Drop in the comments, what did your mama say about how you carried yourself? Or tell me, what is one decision you made about your body that your future self had to reckon? You do not have to share the details, but if your story can save someone else that may be listening, this is a safe place for you to share. Before we close, there's 3 things to carry with you today, right? First, know your value. Before you walk into the room, because the room will test what you already believe about yourself. If you walk in knowing who you are, the holies of holies, you will never let just anything through those doors. Identity is your first defense. Second, learn to say no without explanation or apology. No is a complete sentence. No is wisdom dressed in one syllable. No is the high priest standing at the entrance to the Holy of Holies, saying, not today, not here, not this time. Third, understand that what you are using to try to escape with, substances, lust, sex, will not heal what is hurting on the inside. The party does not fix the loneliness. The drink does not silence the anxiety. The sex does not fill the longing. The substance does not fill the void. Only the one who designed the temple can restore what the temple was designed to carry. And if you are already in a chapter you wish you could rewrite, Jehovah Rapha is still in the business of restoration. Remember, Rapha, he's the mender, he's the cure, he's the repairer, he's the one that makes whole. He does not just forgive the damages, he restores the temple. You're not too far gone. You are not too broken. You are not disqualified from the holies of holies. You are still sacred. You are still chosen. And you are still here. Yes. Now carry yourself. Be well and be loved.